2005 Lexus ES330 Evap Canister Replacement. I'm Brian Eslick from How To Automotive. I'm going to walk you through that process. To get started, we need to jack this car up in the air, and if you're doing this at home, you need to lift the rear up as high as you can go and use floor jacks and jack stands for safety. So here's the new Evap canister that we're going to replace, and this is the genuine part number for Toyota. See if I can turn it up the right side up here for you guys. So the reason why I'm changing it on this Lexus is for the purge valve here that it's stuck. It's not working electrically, and it's venting all the time, creating a large evap leak. But according to Lexus Toyota, this part is not separate. You can't buy this separate. You have to replace the entire canister. So the first step is to unplug the hose that goes into the purge valve. This is the vent line. So we're going to unplug the vent line and the electrical connector. So when we go to take this evap canister out back here, it's going to come out over here in this area. So what we're going to do is drop the exhaust manifold down. You can do it either way. You can pop the rubber grommet out here, here, and here, or you can take the bolts out here and here, and then the exhaust will drop down, and then that'll give us enough clearance to come over here to get the canister out, and also give us more room to see some of the bolts and stuff. So I'm going to use my exhaust hanger pliers. They look like this, so they sit behind like this. Put it in and you squeeze and kind of rotate, and that pops it out. There was a third hanger on the back of the muffler here. So now that we got it hanging and kind of out of our way, that should give us enough room to snake it out from up top. And we also are going to remove the little level sensor for the suspension. So there's just a couple tins, and then we'll swing that out of our way too. So after I'm bolting the level sensor, I left it plugged in, and I'm going to pull it out of the way. And hopefully that's enough room. If not, you can unplug the electrical connector and you can swing it further down underneath the suspension if need to. So now I'm going to take off the 12mm bolt right there. That's on the end of the canister. And that's going to drop the tail of the canister down. Next, on the driver's side, I'm going to reach my hand around here and squeeze the little electrical connector and unplug it like that. So you can see it you just squeeze it at the end. Behind it, above it, is another 14mm bolt we need to get to. And then right here, it's just kind of got a push pin. So once you get the bolt out, then you pry this down, pop it out. And that's right here where what I'm speaking of, that little push pin from the bottom. So you're going to get a little pry tool and pop it out after you take the 14mm bolt here out. So if you kind of look at an angle, you can see the bolt pretty good. And what you can do is you can take a regular wrench, reach around here, you crack it free. And once you get the bolt cracked free, right here, so you get it on there and you crack the bolt free like that. Now what you can do is do this little slit in the suspension. You can take a 1/4-inch wobble. This is happened to be a 14mm quarter-inch drive with like a 3-foot long extension, and now you can slide it through here. And as you can see, you can get the socket on there, and now that you cracked it free, you can spin it off. If you don't crack it free, it's a pretty severe angle, and it doesn't want to come off. I tried it already. So now you can go and remove it, and then, like I said, right here you put like a screwdriver or a pry bar, and then pop that little clip out. So now that you got the canister unbolted and you can wiggle it around, it's a little easier to get to the hoses. So next we're going to attempt to get this vent hose off here. So you're going to follow it in, and it's pretty much the same type of hose as this one is. So if you push inwards and if you squeeze these tabs like this, the little flares flare open, and then you can pull them off. So hopefully, as you can see, it's starting to come off. It's just kind of stuck on there, so they'll come off like that. So I'll see if I can get you a better close look at the flares. So you'll squeeze it like that, and these little tabs right here on the inside will flare open. and clear this little lip right here, and it'll allow you to pull it off. So we don't need to actually take this off. I was just demonstrating for you. So I'll put this back on. And now we're going to attempt to do that right here. And like I said, you can maneuver the Evap canister back and forth now a little easier to get to it. So it looks like the tabs are on the sides. So it wasn't that bad. After you get it off, you can kind of just fold it out under here and the suspension out of your way. And now every time you get a hose off, you get a little bit more room. So now we need to attempt to get this hose off here, and it's going to be the same style hose clamp, squeeze clamp as this one. And it's on the opposite side. So we just did this is the purge valve electrical connector. We just disconnected this hose, so it's on the opposite side of the canister. So if you look at the suspension and go right here against the gas tank and look up, right there is the hose, and you can reach your hand in behind the suspension here like so, and you can get to it and squeeze it. And also, if you need to, you can reach your hand back on this side and maneuver wiggle the Evap canister in angles and positions that may suit you better to get it unplugged. So after popping this hose off, there's one more hose right here, and I'll show that to you now. So we're looking back from behind the gas tank again, looking out towards the canister. And I got the main plastic hose off. And then and I've already popped it off, so I'll show you. It's going to be a hose that looks like this, and it's got a squeeze clamp. So you just squeeze the clamp, and it's on the Evap canister on that little nipple I showed you, and you just pull it off. So once you get the last hose off, then you just pull it towards the exhaust manifold, and you'll have to kind of maneuver it around the little heat shield around here a little bit, and wiggle it around like this, like so, and you can pull it out of the car. You may have to flex the exhaust down a little bit. So now it's out. So one electrical connector, one plastic vent line, one plastic vent line, and one rubber vent line. Well, going back together, this hose right here was actually pretty easy taking it off. I just squeezed it and pulled it off. But going back together, it may be a little bit more difficult to put this particular hose on. So I would recommend probably putting this hose on first. So after positioning the canister back in there, and you stab the rear first, start the bolt, tighten it up, stab the front, and start the bolt and tighten it up. Then after that, you can reach around here, plug in the vent hose that went here. So you can see the vent line there. It has a squeeze clamp, plug that in. And then after that, you're going to plug in the electrical connector for the Evap canister. So it's just going to plug in like that. Then you're going to take the vent line here, put it around, and push it onto it. You hear it clip, and give it a little tug to make sure it doesn't pop back off. Then you're going to reach around the suspension here on the back towards the fuel tank, and see if you can see the hose here. Put the hose on right there and push until it locks, the tabs lock. Once that's secure, you can go ahead and take your level sensor, go ahead and position it back into place, and start the two bolts and tighten it down. So now it's time to put the exhaust back up. So what I like to do is, if you took them out, the rubber hangers, then what I do is put a little penetrating oil back on it to help slide them back on. And there's 3 of them. And if you took the bolts out, then basically all you're doing is just going to lift it back into position and start your bolts and tighten the bolts up. But if you did it my way, like this, then you're just going to lift it up into position, and once you get it into position like so, push them on. So after getting all 3 of the exhaust hangers back on, that pretty much completes the Evap canister. The only thing left is to clear the code. So most likely had an Evap gross leak code or purge valve, or not purge valve, but vent valve problem or something like that. That's the reason why you're doing this. So I'm Brian Eslick from How To Automotive. I'd like to thank you guys for watching my videos and encourage you to subscribe for more valuable videos like this. Thank you again.